women, Westy, they're more likely to talk to their friends, open up and have their friendship groups and talk, whereas men will just bury it, keep it to themselves, because the way we're, wired, we don't talk, we don't show that weakness, and we just bury it in the bottle, like you said. Starts with a few, ends up with a lot. Before you know it, we're addicted.
Yes.
And that's our problem.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think the moral of the story is, if you start drinking to fix anxiety, you're not going to fix anxiety. You're just going to make it feel better for a while.
Absolutely.
You probably will become addicted because you're not going to fix the underlying cause.
Correct.
There is a solution. It's called an anti-anxiety medication, and it'll have you fixed pretty quickly.
Yes. And the interesting thing is that as you get older too, your body doesn't make enough of that hormone, so to speak, or that material that your brain needs, and all you got to do is it's a bit like having a bit of a top-up to get your diet right and things like that. But you get hold of a good GP and you get a diagnosis. A surgeon once said to me that the most important thing we were talking about prostate cancer at the time, and he was talking about how the most important thing was really not the treatment option, but the diagnosis. And if you get the diagnosis and the factors right, you'll get the treatment option. So what you've got to do is, when you do talk to your GP, you've got to come clean, and you've got to be honest and admit that you've got a problem, because at the end of the day, if you don't admit that you've got the problem, you're not going to get the anxiety fixed, and you're going to end up in a life of just trying to self-medicate and effectively
self-destroy,
because you're going to effectively affect your family, your friends, and you can end up a very lonely person.
Yeah, there's one really important step in this whole process, and the biggest step to make is to admit you've got a problem.
Correct.
That's the biggest step. Once you've made that step and admit you've got a problem, then you're on the way to a cure, in my experience.
Yes. Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I think also, I know when I was really battling with it, I used to make these commitments that I'd never drink again. And in some ways, I know that that was really what I wanted to do. But what it did, it put this incredible pressure on me. And effectively, I felt that if I started to drink again, all of a sudden I've let me down, but I've also let my family down. So I learnt by talking to people that it's great to say and believe that you're never going to drink again, but you've got to realise, if you've got the problem and you end up drinking and getting back on it, what you need to do is go back to basics and get some help. Because once you have been addicted to alcohol, it is a very hard thing to get rid of, and one day you could fall. And the quicker you realise that if you do fall, you can still get back to health by seeking help, the better off you'll be.
So can you help me out? Can you help me out?